Galactus is the universe's immune system. Everyone calls Galactus the bad guy. Big purple planet eater, ultimate cosmic villain. Yeah, about that. There's a comic from 1999 that flips the whole thing on its head, and once you've heard it, you can't unsee it. Galactus isn't a villain. He's the universe's immune system. Alex Ross and Jim Krueger wrote Earth X back in '99, and they dropped a bomb. Every planet in the cosmos is a celestial egg, a space god growing inside, waiting to hatch and destroy its host world. Galactus is the one thing stopping them from overrunning reality. Now think about Eternals. Tiamat was growing inside Earth, same exact concept. Marvel even credited the Earth X creators in the film. Then First Steps came out. Galactus loses. Everyone cheered. But if Earth X was right, we just watched humanity break the only thing keeping the real monsters in check. The scariest part of the MCU isn't Thanos. It isn't Kang. It isn't even Doom. It's whatever Galactus was eating to keep us safe. And he's not eating anymore. Odin was the original Mad Titan. Before Thanos ever snapped his fingers, there was Odin. And honestly, he was worse. Remember that scene in Thor Ragnarok? Hela rips down the mural in the throne room and exposes what Odin hid for centuries. The two of them conquered the 9 realms together, drowning entire civilizations in blood. Where do you think all this gold came from, she asks. Now here's where it gets interesting. Fans have spent years dissecting that fake Infinity Gauntlet in Odin's vault. The reading goes that Odin knew about the stones because his father Bor had taken the Reality Stone from the Dark Elves. He found the Space Stone. He had the dwarves at Nidavellir forge him a gauntlet of his own. Then he learned the Soul Stone's price: sacrifice the thing you love most. Hela. He couldn't do it. So he locked her away, scattered the stones, and called himself a peaceful king. Thanos didn't come up with the idea. He just had the stomach to finish it. Franklin Richards is the most powerful being in the MCU. The most powerful character in Marvel isn't Doom. It isn't Thanos. It isn't even Galactus. It's a baby. Franklin Richards, Reed and Sue's son from First Steps, is so far above every other character it's almost embarrassing. In the comics, Franklin's classified as beyond Omega level. That's a step above the highest power tier they have. The Celestials call him a universal shaper, good in training. As an adult, he turns Galactus into his personal herald. The Planet Eater works for him. The real proof comes from Jonathan Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars. The Beyonders destroyed the entire multiverse. Dr. Doom stole their power through Molecule Man and built Battleworld from the wreckage. When Doom fell, Franklin rebuilt everything. With his dad in Molecule Man, he brought every universe back into existence. Now rewatch First Steps. Galactus didn't come to Earth for energy. He came because he sensed Franklin and wanted Franklin to take his hunger away. Think about that. The most feared being in the cosmos wanted a baby to save him. Everyone's watching Doom. Meanwhile, the real god of the MCU is sleeping in a nursery. Bruce Banner and the Hulk are two separate beings. Everyone thinks the Hulk is Bruce Banner with anger issues. It's not even close. In the comics, they're literally two separate beings sharing one body. Paul Jenkins introduced the idea back in 2000 with the Incredible Hulk run that brought us Devil Hulk. Then Al Ewing's Immortal Hulk in 2018 made it canon. Bruce has dissociative identity disorder. Multiple Hulks live inside of Savage Hulk from the movies, plus Joe Fixit, Devil Hulk, and the Immortal Hulk himself, who's basically a horror movie villain in green skin. Each one has its own personality, its own goals, and here's the part that'll mess with you. In Immortal Hulk issue 20, the angel Metatron arrives to judge Banner, and he treats Bruce and the Hulk as two separate souls. Heaven literally sees them as different people. Now think about Smart Hulk in Endgame. That was Marvel trying to merge them. But the comics keep saying that fusion is temporary. The Hulk always wins. So when Hulk eventually comes back full force, it won't be Bruce losing control. It'll be the thing inside him finally taking the wheel. Thor has been holding back the entire time. Thor has never gone full power in the MCU. Not once. Everything you've seen, Ragnarok, killing Thanos with Stormbreaker, all of it, that's maybe 30% of what he can actually do. In Jason Aaron's Thor run, we learned the truth about Mjolnir. The hammer wasn't just forged. Odin captured a living storm older than the universe, the god Tempest, the mother of lightning. He trapped it inside Mjolnir and had the dwarves seal it with Uru metal. Every time Thor swings that hammer, he's wielding a god-killing weapon that's been suppressed for thousands of years. When Thor finally tapped into the god Tempest in the comics, he tore through Galactus like it was nothing. The Planet Eater, nothing. Now look at the MCU. Thor figured out in Ragnarok he doesn't need the hammer. He's the source of the lightning, not the weapon. He killed Thanos in one swing. Fans aren't wrong when they say Thor's the strongest Avenger. They're just way off on how much stronger he actually is. Loki is now the god holding the multiverse together. Loki isn't the trickster anymore. He isn't even a villain. He's holding the entire multiverse together with his bare hands, and it might be the single most overlooked moment in the MCU. Watch the end of Loki Season 2 again. He destroys the temporal loom, walks into the void, grabs every dying timeline, and pours his own magic into each one to keep it alive. He sits on a throne at the end of time, and the timelines wrap around him like the branches of a giant tree. That tree has a name. Yggdrasil, the world tree from Norse mythology. Loki literally became its replacement. The comics saw this coming a decade ago. In Al Ewing's Loki, Agent of Asgard from 2014, Loki stops being the god of lies and becomes the god of stories, the keeper of every narrative in the universe. The MCU borrowed it almost word for word. Every variant, every alternate Avenger, every reality where someone made a different choice, they all exist because Loki's holding them up. If he ever lets go, the multiverse dies with him. Professor X mind-wiped the world to hide mutants. Where have the X-Men been this whole time? Chitauri invasion, Sophia, Thanos snapping half of life out of existence. Mutants didn't show up to a single one. Most people assume Marvel just hadn't introduced them yet. The comics give us a darker answer. Professor Charles Xavier did it. He used Cerebro to perform a global mind wipe, erasing the existence of mutants from every human memory on Earth. And before you call that a stretch, Xavier does this kind of thing all the time. In X-Men number 27 from 2020, he caught Reed Richards inventing a device to hide the mutant gene. So Xavier walked into the Baxter building and erased it from Reed's brain. Reed Richards, smartest man in Marvel, mind-wiped against his will. In Deadly Genesis, Xavier erased everyone's memory of an entire team of X-Men he sent to die. He mind-wiped Magneto so badly it created Onslaught and nearly destroyed the world. Now apply that to the MCU. Ms. Marvel is a mutant. Namor's people are mutants. Wolverine showed up in Deadpool and Wolverine. The X-Men aren't coming. They're being remembered. The Watcher has been breaking his oath the whole time. The Watcher swore an oath to never interfere with humanity. He's broken it nearly 400 times. In What If, the Watcher swears on his life that he can only observe. The comics tell a completely different story. Uatu, the Watcher of Earth, has been breaking his oath since 1963. In Fantastic Four issue 13, he warned the team about the Red Ghost. He tried to hide Earth from Galactus. He acted as Reed Richards' lawyer in an alien trial. The Dreaming Celestial, a being old enough to remember the birth of the universe, scanned Uatu and confirmed it. Nearly 400 violations. Now think about What If. The Watcher breaks his oath openly in Season 1. He pulls Doctor Strange Supreme out of his dead universe. He recruits the Guardians of the Multiverse. He fights Infinity Ultron with his bare hands. Marvel framed it as a one-time exception. It wasn't. Every lucky win the Avengers had, every villain who hesitated at the wrong moment, every prophecy that came true, he was there, watching, and every now and then nudging. The Tiva was built by Reed Richards, not Kang. Loki Season 1 sold us a clean story. He Who Remains created the Time Variance Authority. He founded the Sacred Timeline. He ran it from the end of time. Watch Season 2 again. Ravonna Renslayer doesn't say He Who Remains created the TVA. She says he rebuilt it. One word. Whole different story. Now look at the comics. In Jonathan Hickman's 2009 Fantastic Four run, Reed Richards literally founded something called the Council of Reeds, a coalition of his own multiversal variants who set out to solve everything, charting and policing every timeline across reality. They lobotomized rogue Dooms, they killed alternate Galactuses, they acted exactly like the TVA, the retro tech, the bureaucratic structure, the obsession with pruning, it's all there. And the kicker? In Marvel canon, Kang the Conqueror's real name is Nathaniel Richards. He's a descendant of Reed. So the theory writes itself. Reed built the first TVA to protect the timeline. His own descendant, Kang, stole it, erased Reed's name, and crowned himself founder. When Doom and Reed finally face off in the MCU, it's not just two geniuses fighting. It's the man who actually invented time travel coming back for what's his. Spider-Man's spider sense is actually precognition. Spider sense isn't a sixth sense. It's not heightened reflexes. It's not even a danger warning. In the comics, it's something way more disturbing. Peter Parker can see the future. In Marvel's books, spider sense is connected to something called the Web of Life and Destiny, a cosmic network linking every spider totem across every universe. The Master Weaver, the being who watches the web, pulls warnings from possible futures and feeds them directly into Peter's nervous system. Think about what that means. When the tingle hits, Peter's brain has already seen a future where he gets shot. Then his body avoids it. He's not reacting to danger. He's reacting to a memory of danger that hasn't happened yet. Now rewatch every Spider-Man movie. The slow-motion Doc Ock scene in Spider-Man 2, the Civil War airport dodge against Bucky, the Vulture wingsuit attack in Homecoming. That's literal future vision, not reflexes. Peter Parker is one of the most powerful precogs in Marvel, and the wildest part is, he doesn't even know it. A kid from Queens reading the future every Tuesday, and somehow Doctor Strange gets all the credit. The 10 Rings are older than Earth itself. Wenwu had the 10 Rings for 1,000 years. That's not even the start of the story. The actual answer. These things are billions of years old. Older than humanity, older than Earth, possibly older than the solar system. Watch Shang-Chi's post-credit scene again. Bruce Banner stares at the rings completely baffled. He says outright, they're not vibranium, they're not any metal we know. Carol Danvers, who's flown across every corner of the galaxy, admits she's never seen anything like them. Wong confirms the rings sent out a signal to something far beyond our reality. In the comics, the 10 Rings come from an alien race called the Makluans, giant dragon-like beings whose technology is so advanced it looks like pure magic. Each ring contains the soul of a dead cosmic warrior. They're not weapons, they're prisons. And when Shang-Chi used them, a signal went out. A message to the dragons that someone strong enough finally claimed them. They're not coming to fight Shang-Chi. They're coming to thank him for opening the door. And whatever walks through it makes Galactus look small. Vision is still alive and Marvel is hiding him. White Vision flew away at the end of WandaVision in 2021. He hasn't been seen since. That's 5 years. No cameo, no mention, no nothing. The smart bet is that Marvel didn't forget about him. They're hiding him on purpose. Watch the WandaVision finale one more time. S.W.O.R.D. rebuilt Vision's body as an emotionless white synthezoid. Wanda's red Vision unlocked his memories using the ship of Theseus philosophy. White Vision recovered everything. Every moment with Wanda, every Avengers mission, every death he's ever lived through. He declared himself the real Vision, then he flew off. Vision is alive right now, somewhere in the MCU. In the comics, this exact storyline played out in John Byrne's 1989 Vision Quest. Vision was disassembled, rebuilt without emotion, then slowly regained his soul. And he came back wrong. He hunted down the people who took him apart. He became one of the most tragic heroes Marvel ever wrote. So why is Marvel sat on him this long? Because when Doom breaks the multiverse, the Avengers will need someone who's already died twice. Someone who's done grieving. Mephisto has been pulling strings since WandaVision. Marvel's biggest villain isn't Doom, isn't Thanos, isn't even Galactus. It's Mephisto, the actual devil, and he's been in the MCU since 2021. We just didn't see him. Sacha Baron Cohen's Mephisto finally showed up in Ironheart's 2025 finale, and he revealed something massive. He's been making deals across the MCU for years. He claims he made pacts with the entire Forbes 100, 14 kings, 3 popes, William Shakespeare, Ringo Starr. He gave Parker Robbins the hood. He took Riri Williams' soul in exchange for resurrecting her best friend. Now rewatch WandaVision. In the comics, Wanda's twin sons Billy and Tommy are made from shards of Mephisto's soul. He gave Wanda children he could reclaim whenever he wanted. That's why they vanished. That's why Agatha called them demons spawn. And there's one more loose thread. In the comics, Dr. Doom's mother sold her soul to Mephisto too. The Avengers think they're fighting cosmic conquerors, reality warpers, mad gods. They're not. They're playing the closing moves of a chess game the devil started before any of them were born. Dr. Doom is the most sympathetic villain in Marvel. Everyone calls Doom a tyrant, a dictator, a megalomaniac. They're missing the truth. Doom isn't driven by power. He's driven by grief. Here's his real origin from Fantastic Four Annual Number 2 way back in 1964. Victor's mother, Cynthia Von Doom, was a witch. She made a deal with Mephisto to protect her family from a tyrant terrorizing their village. The deal went wrong. The magic killed her, and Mephisto dragged her soul to hell to torture for eternity. Victor was 4 years old. His father carried him through the mountains, escaping the tyrant's soldiers, and died of cold while shielding his son. Everything Victor became, every invention, every conquest, every act of evil was built on one obsession: free his mother from hell. He built a machine in college to reach Mephisto's realm. It exploded in his face. That's how he got the scar. Reed Richards tried to warn him. Doom blamed Reed forever. He finally rescued his mother decades later with Doctor Strange's help. That's not a tyrant. That's the saddest character Marvel ever wrote. The Infinity Stones were alive and chose their wielders. The Infinity Stones aren't rocks. They're not energy crystals. They're not even cosmic batteries. The comics say they're alive, and they've been picking their wielders the whole time. Casual fans think the stones are leftover Big Bang singularities, like the Collector explained in Guardians of the Galaxy. The comics tell a darker story. The stones were once a single cosmic being named Nemesis. She was the only sentient life in the entire universe. She got so lonely she destroyed herself, and her body shattered into the 6 stones. Each one carries a fragment of her consciousness. Marvel made the Soul Stone's sentience the most obvious. It's hungry. It traps souls in a pocket dimension called Soul World. Adam Warlock literally talks to it like a person. Now apply this to the MCU. The Tesseract guided Captain Marvel to her powers. The Mind Stone gave Vision life. The Reality Stone latched on to Jane Foster on its own. Those weren't accidents. Those were choices. Every chosen one in the MCU was actually chosen by a piece of a dead god. And Tony's snap didn't destroy weapons. It killed 6 gods who didn't want to die. Thanos was never the real villain. Everyone debates whether Thanos was right or wrong about the snap. You're asking the wrong question. Thanos was never in control of his own decisions. Someone else was pulling his strings, and she's the actual villain of the Infinity Saga. Her name is Mistress Death. In Marvel Comics, Death isn't a concept. She's a literal cosmic entity who appears as a skeletal woman, and she's been grooming Thanos since he was a child. In Thanos Rising from 2013, we learned Death visited young Thanos when he was a boy. She encouraged him to dissect animals, to kill his fellow Titans, to embrace murder as his nature. She made him fall in love with her. The snap in the comics? Thanos didn't do it to balance the universe. He erased half of all life as a gift to her. He killed trillions to impress a woman who never even talked to him after. Marvel cut Death out of the MCU version. But she's been there. Aubrey Plaza played her in Agatha all along. Thanos wasn't the villain. He was a heartbroken kid who got told no and burned half the universe trying to change her mind. The quantum realm is a prison for cosmic threats. Most fans think the quantum realm is where Ant-Man shrinks down to. A weird subatomic space. A time travel shortcut. There's a darker reading the comics support. Every major threat in the MCU was either born in the quantum realm, escaped from it, or is hiding inside it right now. In the comics, this place is called the Microverse. It's an entire parallel dimension with its own civilizations and its own gods. Time doesn't even work normally there. When Scott Lang got trapped during the blip, 5 years on Earth felt like 5 hours to him. Now think about what's come out of it. He Who Remains built his citadel at the end of time using quantum realm physics. KANG variants were trapped there for centuries. Janet Van Dyne survived 30 years inside it and came back changed, carrying powers humans aren't supposed to have. The pattern's hard to ignore. Something locked the multiverse's most dangerous beings down there and forgot about them. Every time this MCU expands the multiverse, the locks crack a little more. Doom isn't the endgame. He's just the first thing big enough to climb out. Franklin Richards will soft reboot the entire MCU. We've talked about Galactus, Loki, Wanda, Doom, Death herself. Every cosmic threat that could rewrite reality. None of them are the endgame. The being who's going to reshape the entire MCU is a baby. In the Fantastic Four, First Steps, Marvel showed us something they buried in plain sight. Galactus, the same Galactus we called the universe's immune system in Theory 1, looked at this newborn child and called him his heir. The Devourer of Worlds saw a baby and recognized something bigger than himself. That's not fan speculation, that's on screen. In Hickman's 2015 Secret Wars, Franklin literally rebuilt the multiverse. After the Beyonders destroyed everything and Doom was defeated, Reed used the leftover power, Franklin used his reality-shaping abilities, and together with Molecule Man, they created the 8th Cosmos. The entire Marvel Universe you've been reading for 10 years is a Franklin Richards creation. So Doom isn't the endgame, he's the catalyst. Doom will break the multiverse, Franklin will rebuild it. The MCU you know is ending. The next one belongs to a 4-year-old kid closing his eyes and dreaming a new universe into existence.